नमस्कार सिक्किम क्रनिकलमा तपाईहरु सबैजनालाई स्वागत छ र हामी तपाईहरुलाई लगातार सिक्किम आर्ट्स एन्ड लिटरेचर फेस्टिभल बारे जानकारी लिएर आइरहेका छौं। हामी योक्सममा छौं, द फर्स्ट क्यापिटल अफ सिक्किम। अनि यो 3 दिनको जुन कार्यक्रम आयोजन भएको थियो यसमा धेरै ब्रेनस्टर्मिङ सेसन्सहरु भएको थियो र एउटा सेसन चाहिँ पत्रकारिता अनि जर्नलिजमलाई लिएर पनि भएको थियो र मसँग अहिले हुनुहुन्छ वान अफ द प्यानलिस्ट हु हेभ ट्राभल अल द वे फ्रम असम अनि उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ टेरेसा रेहमान अनि उहाँ एडिटर इन चीफ हुनुहुन्छ Thumbprint को. Ma'am, welcome to Sikkim.
Thank you so much.
First and foremost, we just wanted to understand, I hope so this is your first visit to Yoksam.
To Yoksam, yes.
So tell us, like, I mean, what does it mean, to travel all the way from Assam to Yoksam and to participate and to do these brainstorming sessions, attend? What does it mean for you?
One thing that really tempted me was Kanchenjunga. So the Kanchenjunga National Park, I'll be close to the Himalayas. This is something which really motivated me to travel. And yes, I wanted to and since this is being organized by Teamwork Arts, which also organizes the Jaipur Lit Fest, so they are very well organized, and their choice of subjects and including panels are very good. And it's so beautiful, and I was so happy to meet the DC Ishe. So she's so dynamic, and we see so many women leaders here. I mean, so many women officials. It's so vibrant. It's such a vibrant society, and I think we need to come more to Sikkim and know more about this small Himalayan state. It's a lovely place, and I'm loving the weather here.
Yes. So yesterday there was a discussion, especially in regard to the digital journalism. So we listened to you, we heard your point of view. How do you see, especially digital platform taking over the mainstream journalism?
And digital is the future. I mean, you can't help walking with technology, hand in hand with technology. And as I said, the whole region, the northeast of India, including Sikkim, they are one of the most underreported regions of the world, I would say. So I think it's a very good sign that the people are making use of technology and telling their stories. Just one mobile phone and you can tell your story. Be in any part of, otherwise this inaccessible and so-called inaccessible and unsafe areas of the country. Now we have people who are on the ground telling you their stories. I mean, what can be more wonderful than that? But yeah, when it comes talking about ethics and accountability, I think we have a lot to say about the ethics and accountability of the so-called big time media houses. So I see this as a very, very positive sign, and I love the fact that people are beginning to tell their stories using technology.
Yesterday, during your presentation, you had mentioned about one incident where you traveled with this girl who walked 3 days to reach her home. And you said like everything was recorded, she in fact uploaded in the YouTube, and you beautifully said that it's not just a video, but it's a digital library for the ethnography, especially you mentioned. So how the digital media has given this impetus, especially to the citizens, to tell their stories, which often gets neglected in the mainstream media.
Well, I told you I followed that girl on her channel. I mean, I saw that video. I didn't go with her.
Okay.
So it was like going with her. So that's what I said. This we have this whole lot of people becoming YouTubers these days, and I think that is also a very good sign. They may not realize what they're doing, but they are actually documenting things which maybe nobody would have discovered. For instance, this girl, she stays in Itanagar, the capital of Arunachal Pradesh. She studies in the college there, and her home is a village which takes her three days by road. And she filmed the whole journey, and she said, this is the India I live in. This is the India you'll not see on national television. So I think it's a beautiful thing that's happening here. Technology is, you may say, technology is, this is avalanche of information. But I think we need an avalanche of information in this part of the country where people are totally in the periphery, in the margins.
So media plays a very important role in shaping the public opinions, and people look up to the media for the credible and information and the whatsoever. But the 9 p.m. News, especially in the mainstream media, has become slightly polarized, because the opinions which they give to the people has been clearly polarized. How do you see, especially when editorial rooms are taken up by the corporates and especially the advertisement manager, how and where does the credible journalism establishes?
Yeah, I agree. We are going through a really lean phase in journalism, but I am a uh, very old-fashioned shoe leather journalist who believes in the old ideals, the old tradition of storytelling, honestly, with objectivity, and without mincing words. And I believe that technology is just a
Medium.
medium. The stories will stand the test of time, and good stories, genuine stories, I think good groundbreaking reportage will stand the test of time. I strongly believe nothing can, you may have lot of things coming in and popping in and out from your channels, from your portals, but these good stories you'll remember. Yes, this journalist did this story. Yes, maybe 50 years down the line people will remember you. People will remember Sikkim
Yes,
Chronicle for
absolutely.
chronicling the lives of
Yes,
the people of Sikkim.
but
It's the lives of the people, men, women, and children that are important. It's
But
very.
but ma'am, when we talk about the boom of digital journalism, especially, fake news has been one of the odd challenges. So where do we draw the line? Do you think government should regulate the digital media? I mean, what is your, because that also curtails the freedom of speech. So what is your opinion on that?
No, I don't think the. I think we need more of media literacy, especially in schools and colleges. You can start with the schools and colleges. You have to understand media. You don't look at it from a detached a point of view. You try to engage with media, and now with the digital journalism, you can even type in your comments. And so I think with this changing technology, we really need to have a media literate society, and that can start in the schools and colleges. We don't need regimentation. We need people will understand, oh, this is fake, and we know that, okay, this, we can trust this channel, we can trust this portal, we can trust this journalist. So trust is something which has been there since eternity.
But do you think people still, trust the journalists who, in fact, have very a polarized point of view?
See, and one thing I had learned in my journalism school, I had gone to the Indian Institute of Mass Communication in Delhi.
IMC.
The first lesson that was taught to us was, don't think that your readers are fools. you know don't think that a person is watching you and he's a fool. You can tell him anything and get away with it. They know deep inside that this is fake, or this is wrong, this is not right. But then, as I said, good journalists will survive the test of time.
But do you think, are we more into PR than into actual reporting
uh,
nowadays?
PR was always there, and corporatization of media was always there, but now I think the regimentation is more. But still, we are lucky to have portals. We are lucky to have mojos. We are lucky to have, it's like a revolution that's, right from that. We used to wait for that 9 o'clock news to be aired from Delhi, broadcast from Delhi. So that 9 o'clock news is no longer sacred. Now we have this prolific group of journalists all over, scattered all over in small villages, towns, and they are telling their stories. So and you can make out which is good, which is bad. It's just a matter of time.
Well, what do you think in terms of revenue? How difficult is it for the digital journalist?
Yeah, that is a big question, and that is where corporates come in. Money. So yeah, I think. Journalism is one profession where you don't get into it. You get into it because you are passionate about what you do. you know you don't get into journalism to just to earn money. Maybe
But
you don't.
ma'am, when corporatization happens of media, do you think the ethics stands there?
Well, at some level it is compromised, and at certain levels it's there. Ethics is something which can be compromised anywhere. So you may have some very high profile journalists who are compromising with their ethics. So that's a very questionable thing. But as I said, I'm very optimistic and hopeful. I'm like, some people say that journalism is dead. I said no, we'll come back. It's like going back to this old thing, start storytelling by the fireside. We'll come back. Stories are there; they will always be there. People love to listen to stories, so good stories will stand the test of time.
You said, like, you are termed as a parachute journalist, like, a word which was something new even to me as a journalist. What is actually parachute journalism, a parachute journalist?
Actually, it's a derogatory term when you say that a half-baked journalist has just come and then started reporting. This is like the local journalist may feel that whatever. But as I said, when you are reporting hardcore conflict in a region like the northeast of India, certain stories can also only be told by a journalist from outside. Because a local journalist cannot risk your life, and this is something which we have been talking about. The safety of journalists.
Yes.
Safety of journalists, not just physical safety, but also the mental health of a journalist.
Right.
Especially when you are reporting from a conflict zone. You have to, the trauma of a journalist is something we don't talk about. The vulnerability of a journalist is something we don't talk about. And I think it's you will be brave if you talk about your vulnerabilities. If you feel that you need help, if you need professional help, seek counseling. Try to relax. I mean, that's what we've been talking about. Journalism. The journalist should not become a story himself or herself. They are going there to hunt for stories, not to become a story.
Exactly.
So the health of a journalist and safety of a journalist is very important. I think we should talk about that, and that should be incorporated in our media schools as well.
So you come from one of the most prestigious institute, IIMC. How important it is for the journalist to have training?
I don't think you really need a training in mass communication to be a good journalist. I think you need a good training in maybe a good history student of history or a good student of political science will make a good journalist. You have to understand the socio-cultural milieu.
Exactly.
You have to understand the ethos. You have to understand the people. You have to be grounded. You can't just be superficial and just do just handling the camera is not journalism. You have to understand the core principles. You have to question, why is this happening, why, what, where, when, those things which are there. And these are old-fashioned cardinal rules of journalism which will survive all.
Do you think this is being practiced present day?
At least I do it. So I don't know. I mean, good journalists, I'm sure you also do it, and you cannot survive being fake and being superficial all the time. So yes, you need some training, that's okay. But I think your fundamentals should be strong. Your fundamentals should be strong, and yes, I believe that you need research. Media research is something that we should talk about. And like, there was a very good website called the Hoot, which used to do media analysis, and I used to do media analysis for the Hoot, but now that has stopped. But then media research in the universities, we need more and more students to talk about why media is changing, why, what, these things are happening at such a fast pace, especially technology, and we don't know what's going to happen in another 2 years or 3 years with artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And everything coming on. I mean, technology is it's a demon. It's like it's just coming us and engulfing everyone. So we have to stand firm and tell our stories, keep telling our stories.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasant conversation with
Thank you so
and
much.
thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
With Subin, this is Nirmal for Sikkim Chronicle.